talking about Medicaid cuts and making sure we get the information out there for folks who may be impacted by the upcoming cuts to Medicaid. And so, my good friend Rashad came in and said, hey, we have a possible option. Let's talk about it. All right, Rashad, what's up?
What's happening?
As well known as Rabbit, so feel free to call him that as well. So first of all, real quick, I know that you do health insurance, life insurance, home and business liability, right?
Correct.
Did I miss any insurance area that you can assist with?
Just about anything. As like if it can be insured, I usually can take care of you.
Sounds good. So right at the front end, before we get into the Medicaid conversation, I want to make sure those listening know how to reach you. Some people don't have time to watch the whole live. So right from the beginning, where can they find your information online?
RJWILLIAMS.AGENcy. All my stuff's going to be is right there. In fact, we should probably.
I'm going to put it down there, but yeah, RJWILLIAMS.AGENcy. So for those who can't stay to the end, if you want to get those questions answered about your Medicaid options and what could you do once the cuts take effect, go ahead and go there. But today we're going to give a sharp breakdown on some of this information. So the first question I have for you is, what is the prediction on when people are saying the cuts may start to take effect?
Some people may be seeing it already, but we can pretty much expect it either near the end of this year and going into the new year, unless there's some sort of change or delay in that. But
once again, I think the reason why we're seeing it where it's different time frame by state is because states do operate differently according to how the Medicaid funding is allotted. So you may or may not be seeing it today. You could be someone at the end of the year. You could be somebody next year. But at some point between now and 2026, people who have Medicaid plans are going to see an impact. So what is one possible option for folks who are afraid that their Medicaid coverage may be cut?
Okay, so basically, if you do find yourself being removed from Medicaid, more than likely you will qualify for an ACA marketplace plan. I know a lot of people have been concerned about what the actual costs are. Basically, if you were on Medicaid and you qualify for Medicaid and you just don't qualify for it anymore, you may still be able to get a $0 plan. It's pretty much going to be based on your family situation and your income, so that does play a factor into it. But it's very well possible that you can still come out of it without having to pay a monthly premium.
So essentially, because the marketplace plans are the amount you pay per month is based on your income, right? Your family size, like you said. And so someone could get really good healthcare coverage and not have to pay anything per month or pay very little depending on income. And so folks who do have Medicaid because of lower income, this is a great option because you can still get, and honestly, in some ways, you may get more choice this way, if I'm not mistaken, because you can pick plans, right? And you can see how much your payment would be. Some of them will be $0, some might be $10 a month. But yeah, kind of it's almost a benefit in this capacity that maybe those who were making the cuts didn't realize. So let's not say it too loud for the people, just saying. So RJWILLIAMS.AGENCY is the person you need to speak about, though, to learn more about what your options may be. Now, there's one more thing I really wanted to touch on because this is important. Because this happened earlier this week, we were on the phone and you mentioned that someone had forgotten to do something and it affected their coverage. What is the thing people need to do to keep their coverage active every year?
Yeah, well, there are a few things, but the main thing that we're talking about is filing your taxes. Some people may not realize that you need to file taxes, or think, hey, I'm on disability. I don't pay taxes at the end of the year. That's fine. You may not need to pay taxes, but you still need to file them if you have an ACA marketplace plan. Because the subsidy that you get is based on an advanced premium tax credit, which basically just means that what you say that you make on the application has to match, or at the very least be in the right ballpark at the end of the year. And when it reconciles, it needs to say, hey, this person is supposed to have this much subsidy or this much savings. And if you don't file those taxes, then they don't have anything to go off of, and then you could lose your subsidy, end up paying that full price for these health
Does
insurance
not have
plans. And we all know that those
Yes.
can be a nice, pretty penny.
And you know, the filing of the taxes every year, it's a minimal thing just to make sure you keep your coverage. The coverage amount is based on, you know, that income. So if you're getting that $0 coverage, they just want to see that you're reporting that you don't make enough, and it doesn't make you pay taxes. But it's something minimal to make sure that you have the health coverage that you want in place, in position, you know, regardless of this policy change with Medicaid, that you have the capacity to make a decision and take ownership of your health coverage and health trajectory. So I also know that beyond Louisiana, you're also available in other states. I know you don't have the full list, but if you could explain kind of what regions of the country can you assist with coverages?
Yeah, so basically, I am licensed in 30 states, pretty much everything east of the Mississippi River and south of New York. I'm pretty much there. Most of the Southwest, I'm there. A good chunk of the Pacific Northwest, I'm there as well. Like I said, if you roll the dice, you got a 3 out of 5 chance that I'm in that state.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, for folks out there, because this is one of the things that came out with Medicaid, speaking of the different states, is that the states didn't really call it Medicaid anymore. And so there's some people who may have a Medicaid plan and not be aware of what their Medicaid coverage is called. So I still advise you, check in, look at your insurance card or the name of the plan, just determine, is that considered Medicaid? Could you be impacted by the cuts? Now is the time to make that decision, put something in place so that you can continue to get those mental health care appointments, those doctor checkups, those physicals, whatever it is that you need. Get something put in now, RJWILLIAMS.AGENCY, to make sure that you know that your coverage is going to be smooth and going forward. So,
Yep, no .com, just RJWILLIAMS.AGENcy.
Did I say .com?
No, but a lot of people do think that there's a .com at the end of it. No, it's just RJWILLIAMS.AGENcy.
That is what it is. So any final words before we close out for today?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Hopefully a lot of people will be chucking some health insurance. RJWILLIAMS.AGENcy.
Myself, Jessica, borderline realtor for Louisiana, and today we are going to be talking about
renovation. But I always tell people, like, wait till I get in the attic, wait till I get under the house.
A lot of people confuse warranty with homeowners insurance. So,
but on that same token, it's a lot safer. You don't have the same factors involved in it.